When I heard the news, I rushed to the house. I met him in a pool of blood with a deep cut on his neck. I reported it to the police.
Instantly, our detectives were drafted to the scene, where they rushed to the location and they found the victim motionless in a pool of blood.
This is not just a story about death, it is a story about a house where only two people were present, a husband and his new wife. One of them is now dead. The other says she knows nothing. In the quiet border town of Jibia, what began as a normal Sunday in January 2026 quickly turned into a scene of confusion, fear, and unanswered questions. The town had only just begun to recover from years of violent attacks. Life was slowly returning. Markets were opening again. People were beginning to feel safe, but that fragile peace did not last. By midday, disturbing news spread across the community. A man had been found dead inside his own home. His name was Abubakar Lagaski, a local businessman, a familiar face in the market, and more importantly, a man who had just gotten married 3 days earlier. When residents first heard the news, many did not believe it, but as details emerged, the situation became even more disturbing. Abubakar was found lying in a pool of blood inside his own home with a deep violent cut across his neck, not outside, not in a remote area, inside his own house. And there was something else, something that made the situation even more unsettling. At the time his body was discovered, his wife Zainab Mohammed was inside that same house, alive, unarmed. That is where the mystery begins. Police from the Nigerian police force were immediately called to the scene. And according to the spokesperson DSP Sadiq Adil, officers arrived to find Abubakar motionless in his own blood. He was rushed to the hospital, but doctors confirmed he was already gone. There were no reports of forced entry, no immediate signs of an external attack, no evidence that a stranger had broken into the home. So investigators were left with a difficult question. How does a man suffer such a fatal injury inside his home while his wife is present and she claims she did not kill him? Zainab Mohammed was taken into custody, and from that moment, suspicion began to grow. According to neighbors, the relationship between Zainab and Abubakar was not new. They had known each other for years. They had once been together, but things changed. In 2025, Zainab married another man. That marriage ended and she returned to Abubakar. They reconnected, and just days before this incident, they got married. To outsiders, it looked like a love story that had found its way back. But behind closed doors, something may have been different. Family members of Abubakar are not convinced this was a mystery. They believe something much darker happened inside that house. They are openly accusing Zainab of killing her husband. They are demanding justice, and their question is simple. How can a man be found with his throat cut inside his own home, and the only person with him says she knows nothing? That question has echoed across Jibia, and so far, no clear answer has been given. Investigators searching the house reportedly found bottles of a substance believed to be clothing. This discovery has added another layer to the case. Was it used? Was it consumed? Did it play a role in what happened that night? Authorities have not confirmed, but experts say substances like that can affect behavior, judgment, and control, and in some cases escalate already tense situations. While the exact sequence of events is still unclear, analyst says the nature of the injury tells a story of its own. A deep cut to the neck is not accidental. It requires force, it requires closeness, and it requires intent. This was not something that could happen quietly without struggle, not something that could happen without someone knowing. Which brings the investigation back to the same troubling point. Two people were inside that house, only one walked out alive. Some residents believe there may have been a violent confrontation, an argument that went too far, a moment of rage that turned irreversible. Others believe something even more disturbing may have occurred. They whisper about unusual behavior, about emotional instability, about things that cannot easily be explained. But for now, those remain rumors. What investigators are focused on is evidence. Police say Zainab Mohammed remains the primary suspect. She is currently in custody, and detectives are working to piece together exactly what happened in those final moments. Did an argument escalate into violence? Was there a calculated act? Or is there something else that has not yet been uncovered? Back in the community, fear still lingers, not just because a man was killed, but because of how it happened. Inside a home, inside a marriage, inside a space that should have been safe. A union that lasted 3 days, a life that ended in silence. And a mystery that continues to raise one chilling question: what truly happened between Zainab and Abubakar behind closed doors? And investigations continue. The people of Jibia wait. The family demands answers, and a case that began as a celebration now stands as one of the most disturbing incidents the town has seen in recent times. What a mystery, what a death, and who killed Abubakar? These are the exact questions I am asking. Since the police say the matter is still under investigation, I pray the truth reveal.
Dangaski was my brother and close friend. They got married last Thursday. Some guests were still around when this happened. We found bottles of what looked like drugs in the house. We just want justice. That's why we didn't take the law into our hands. When I heard the news, I rushed to the house. I met him in a pool of blood with a deep cut on his neck. I reported it to the police. I want authorities to investigate this case properly and honestly. We want justice, and we will keep pushing until it is achieved.
Instantly, our detectives were drafted to the scene, where they rushed to the location and they found the victim motionless in a pool of blood. And without delay, they rushed the victim to the nearest hospital for immediate medical attention, where he was confirmed dead by the doctor on duty. So far, we have one suspect in custody, suspected to be in connection with the commission of the offense, and investigations are underway to unravel the circumstances surrounding the death of this groom, and further development will be communicated as the investigation proceeds.